Good evening, everyone. This is Amanraj, Android facilitator at TSC Kita, and I welcome you all to this session of Android Study Gems presented by the collaboration of Developer Student Clubs Kita and Developer Student Clubs CVRGU. I hope you all are doing good in completing the tracks of the study gems. So let's start this session and learn some new things about Android and Kotlin. So the question is what we are going to learn in this session. In this session, we will learn about the concept of inheritance, which class is referred as base class and which class is referred as derived class. We will also learn about the abstract class, how abstract class is used as base class so that other classes inherits its features. We will see how the override, open and super keywords are used in inheritance, and then we will learn about some Android UI components like edit text. So what is inheritance? Inheritance in Kotlin is a mechanism in which one class acquires all the properties and behaviors of the parent class. Or we can say that inheritance is a feature using which a class inherits all the features of another class. The class from which the features are inherited is known as base class or superclass or parent class, and the class that inherits the features is known as derived class or subclass or child class. Let's understand the concept of inheritance by an example. You all can see that here we have two classes, dog and cat. The dog class has two variables, color and breed, and has two functions defined, bark and eat. Have a look on the cat class now. It also has two variables, color and age, and has two functions defined, meow and eat. If we look closely, then these two classes have something in common, color variable and eat function. So why to write them two times? Using inheritance, we only have to write the common things once. Like here you can see that we have extracted the common things from both the classes and put them in another class, animal. The dog and cat class extends the animal class by using the colon symbol. Now the animal class is the base class, the dog class and the cat class are the derived classes, which means these classes inherits the properties and behaviors of the parent class animal. Plus they add their own specific logic. So instead of having to copy and paste all the logic in both classes, we have written them in single place. As you can see, learning to leverage inheritance among classes can make your code easier to write, reuse, read, and test. It's time to know about abstract class. A class which is declared with abstract keyword is known as abstract class. An abstract class cannot be instantiated, means we cannot create object of an abstract class. The method and properties of abstract class are non-abstract unless they are explicitly declared as abstract. An abstract class is designed only to act as a base class to be inherited by other classes. Look at this example where we defined a class with abstract keyword, which makes this class an abstract class. This class has an abstract function think. An abstract function does not have any body and it has abstract keyword before the function name. As we can't create objects of this class, if we want to use the features of this class, we have to use the concept of inheritance and inherit the features in other class by extending this class and overriding the think function. So let's see how we can do so. In this, the human class is an example of abstract class, and here the smart human class extends the abstract class human. Because smart human class extends an abstract class, it has to override its abstract function think, which is done by using override keyword. Overriding the function means redefining the function in the derived class which is already defined in the base class. In this particular example, we have to define the body of thing function in the smart human class as it extends the abstract class human. So, when we create an object of the derived class smart human and calls the thing function, it executes the overridden function thing of that class and prints smart thinking. Inheritance is not only limited to abstract class. Like we can also extend the classes which are not abstract. But if we do so, then we will get some errors like this. You can see in the first image. The errors are because classes and functions in Kotlin are by default final in nature. Means we can't extend the classes and override the methods. And that's why open keyword is here to explicitly define a class inheritable and a function overridable. So if we use open keyword in front of a class, it means now the class can be extended, and if we use it in front of a function, it means now the function can be overridden. So let's move to the super keyword. Super keyword in Kotlin is a keyword used to access the functions and variables of the base class from the derived class. If the function in the derived class has its own default implementation in the base class, we can use super keyword to access it. Like in this example, the base class human has a function think that prints thinking, and the derived class smart human has the same function think which overrides the base class function and first call super.think and then prints smart thinking. So when we create an object of this class smart human and call its think function, it first executes super.think which calls the think function of the base class human which prints thinking, and then executes the println statement which prints smart thinking. The output is shown below. You can see what this code prints, like first thinking and then smart thinking. And with this, we are done with the concepts like inheritance, base class, derived class, abstract class, override, open, and super keywords. So let's move to learn about some Android UI components. First is edit text. In Android, edit text is a user interface control which is used to allow the user to enter or modify the text. While using edit text control in our Android application, we need to specify the type of data the text field can accept using the input type attribute. Edit text is an overlay over text view that configures itself to be editable. It is the predefined subclass of text view that includes rich editing capabilities. Here is a snapshot of an edit text, like you can see that. And next is radio button and radio group. Radio button is a two states button which is either checked or unchecked. If a single radio button is unchecked, we can click it to make checked radio button. Radio buttons are used when we need to select only one item from a list of presented items. However, because radio buttons are mutually exclusive, you must group them together inside a radio group. By grouping them together, the system ensures that only one radio button can be selected at a time. And that's it. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. Now I invite Ritesh from DSC CVRGU to continue from here. Over to you, Ritesh.
So thank you so much, Raman. So good evening, guys. I am Ritesh Kumar Sinha, your Android facilitator from Developer Student Club CVRGU, and I welcome you all to the second session of Android Study Jam presented by the collaboration of Developer Student Club CVRGU and Developer Student Club GPAC. So here are the topics that we are going to cover in today's session, like view binding, introduction to the logcat in Android Studio, list and its types, recycler view, and view holders. So coming to the view binding. A view binding is a feature that allows you to more easily write code that interact with views. Once view binding is enabled in a module, it generates a binding class for each XML layout file present in that module. An instance of binding class contains direct reference to all views that have an ID in corresponding layout. In most cases, view binding replaces find view by ID. It is enabled on a module by module basis. To enable view binding in a module, set the view binding build option to true in module level build.gradle file. To set up an instance of binding class for use with an activity, first call the static inflate method included in the generated binding class, which creates an instance of binding class for activity to use. Get a reference to root view by calling getRoot method and pass root view to set content view to make it active view on screen. It has an important advantage that it provides null safety since view binding creates direct reference to view. There is no risk of null pointer exception due to an invalid view ID. It has faster compilation as compared to data binding and is easy to use. Now, getting a glimpse about Logcat in Android. The Logcat window in Android Studio displays system managers such as when a garbage collection occurs and messages that you added to your app with the log class. It displays messages in real time and keeps the history so you can view older messages. So basically a Logcat window displays the system messages and add messages that you add to your app with a log class. When an app throws an exception, Logcat shows a message followed by associated stack trace containing link to the line of code. To display a log messages, first of all you have to build and run your app on your device. Then you have to go and click on view, then click on tool windows, and then you can go to Logcat. The log class allows you to create log messages that appear on the Logcat. The Logcat allows you to create log messages that generally we use following log methods, that is log.e, that is for the error, log.w for warning, log.i for information, log.d for debug, and log.v for verbose. Now coming to list in Kotlin. A list is a generic ordered collection of elements. It is of two types, read-only list and mutable list, that can be modified after you create it. Means you can add, remove, or update elements. Using list, we can perform several functions like contains, contain all, get, index of are all the methods that we can use in the list. A read-only list cannot be modified once it has been initialized. However, you can apply operations such as sorted, reverse, etc. Whereas we can modify the mutable list later on. Now coming to the most important part, that is recycler view and view holder. A recycler view is a view group that contains the view corresponding to your data. It's a view itself, so you add recycler view into your layout the way you would add any other UI element. Each individual element in the list is defined by a view holder object. When the view holder is created, it doesn't have any data associated with it. After the view holder is created, the recycler view binds it to its data. You define the view holder by extending recycler view.viewHolder. The recycler view requests those views and bind the views to their data by calling methods in the adapter. You define the adapter by extending recycler view.adapter. The layout manager arranges the individual element in your list. You can use one of the layout manager provided by the recycler view library, or you can define your own layout manager, are all based on the library's layout manager abstract class. So this is all guys from my part. One more important announcement. Now we are going to showcase your apps that you all have made till now. So I want that all of you might send your app link to our Telegram group so that we can find the best one that we would send for the further evaluations. So that is all from my part. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.